Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Shane, and today we're going to be drawing a retro arcade machine in Adobe Illustrator. It's really simple and easy to make. Let's just get straight to it. Alright guys, so this is a quick template I just made for this video. So by the end of this video you should have something that looks a little like this. So let's get started. I'm going to delete this and then we can just continue. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a basic shape for the arcade machine. So we're going to head over to the shape section, we're going to choose the rectangle tool and just draw a cube. Once you've got that, just fill in a colour. Once you've got this, we're going to copy and paste this with Ctrl+C and Ctrl+F, which copies and pastes it in the same place. We're going to hold Shift and just drag this out to create a new copy. And we just want to start creating a basic shape. So this is where the screen's going to go. We're going to press A, so to do this we're going to switch between A and V a lot. What this does is it switches between the selection tool and the direct selection, which allows us to select these different anchor points, and you can use this just to manipulate the shape. So once you've done that, put this on an angle, and as you can see this is the bottom and this would be the screen of the arcade machine. Once again, select the bottom, we're going to Ctrl+C, Ctrl+F and just paste this up. We're going to drag and scale this down. I'm going to squash this down a little bit. We can drag this in. And we're just starting to block out the shape of the arcade machine. It doesn't have to be perfect because we can always resize this as we want. So I think I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. And so what you should do here is just keep working until you're happy with the shape. I think this will do for now. So once you're happy with your shape, what we need to do is we need to convert these shapes into a single object. To do this, we're going to select it all. And what you can do is you can hold Shift and M, and this is a shortcut for the Shape Builder tool. Alternatively, you can head over to the left, and it's right here, Shape Builder tool, and this will allow you to select different shapes and just group them together by dragging. So what we do, drag, and there we go, we just have a single shape now. Once you've got this, we're going to go over to Object, and we're going to choose Expand. Once we've expanded the shape, we can now modify and manipulate this using tools. So the next tool is a really useful tool to remember, and this is going to allow you to make any shape, any text, anything in Illustrator, you can convert it to a 3D material. So what we want to do is we're going to head over to Effects, 3D and Materials, and we're going to choose 3D Classic. The new one, Extrude and Bevel, also works well, but this 3D Classic, especially if you're on a lower end system, is much less tax on your machine. So we're going to use Extrude and Bevel Classic, and as you can see we get a bunch of options here. We're going to choose Position, and for this we're going to make it an isometric design, so we want to choose Isometric Right. And now we just need to play around with the depth, so I'm going to choose maybe 200. 200 looks about right. So once you're happy with that, we're going to choose No Shading. If you're happy with the current shading, then by all means. I'm not a fan of how it looks, I think it looks washed out, so we're going to choose No Shading. Click OK. And now, as you can see, it's made the 3D shape, but we can't edit it. What we need to do now is we need to expand it again. Now to do this, you can just simply hold Ctrl and A, which will expand the shape. Or again, you can go to Object and just click Expand, which will do the same thing. Once you've done that, right click, ungroup. Now sometimes you'll need to ungroup again, so just right click and ungroup it again. And now as you can see, we can select and move all the shapes as we want. So the next step is we're going to now start colouring this in. So I'm going to select the first two front pieces here. Press I or select the eyedropper tool to the left, and we're going to head over and we're just going to start filling in. You could screenshot and use these same colours I've got here, or you can just choose your own colours. So to the right side, I'm going to be making this side the shadow, so we're going to use a darker colour for that. And I already have the top colour filled in. So as you can see, we're starting to get a bit of a shape now. Next, I'm going to fill in this to have a border for the screen. So to do that, I'm going to Ctrl+C and Ctrl+F to paste in place again. And I'm going to hold Shift and Alt, and we're just going to scale this down until we're happy with the size. And this is going to give us a nice border for the screen. So select that, and I'm going to select the same colour as we had for the front. Okay, so next let's work on the screen a little more. We're gonna Shift and Alt to drag this across to make a copy. And once we've done this, I want to add some reflecting lines onto the screen. So to do that, it's very easy. Just drag out a couple of rectangles, like so. We're going to make one of them shorter, group together with Ctrl G, and we just want to rotate them slightly, like so. Once you've done this, select them both, and you're going to head over to the Align tools, and you want to find a horizontal align to the center. We now need to remove the excess pieces, so select everything, and to do this, this is another really useful tool. So we're going to head over to the Pathfinder, and we want to use Divide. Now this is a very useful tool. I use this all the time. So select that. Now what this is going to do is allow us to, once you right click and ungroup the shape, it has now divided all the shapes. So you can now just delete the excess, and now we have our separate piece. So we're going to group those two together. We don't need the excess, we can delete that now. And then I'm going to select the highlight colour, and we can just drag this onto the screen, like so. Next, we want to drag this behind. So to set this further back in layer, we can use Control and the bracket keys. Now what this does is it allows you to move between layers. So if you hold Control and press the left bracket, you can keep tapping that until, as you can see, it then now goes behind. So once this is behind the arcade machine, we can then select the screen colour, like so. And now we have somewhat of a screen. Okay, now that we've got the screen done, let's add a shadow for it. So you can select P for pen tool, or you can just head over and select it to the left. And we're just going to zoom in, and we're going to select the points of the arcade machine to line it up easy. And we're just going to, like this, draw out a shape. Try your best to get to line up. Now you can just try and use the base as a frame. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're now going to select black colour or any kind of shadow colour, and we're going to choose 30% maybe. Just play around with percentages until you're happy with it. So I'm now going to just add a little more detail to the top of the arcade machine. I'm going to do this by holding Ctrl C and Ctrl F again to paste in place. We're going to hold Shift and Alt, and then we're going to drag in, and this is going to allow us to, just like this, scale it in and create a new shape. So once I've done that, you're going to want to head over and just select the darker colour. And then what we can do is we can do this once again, but dragging down from the top this time. And this is all preference, it's just design choices, and we can add a shadow essentially. So we could use this colour, like this. Okay, great, so let's move on to the controls now. So we can just zoom in. Now press L, or you can select the ellipse tool at the side and just draw out a circle. We're going to go to Effect and 3D Materials again, Extrude and Bevel. Now this time we're going to choose Isometric Top. We want the depth to be much shorter this time, maybe 3. And then once again, no shading. Expand it again with Ctrl A. Ungroup. Now we have a basic shape. I'm going to drag over to the colours again. And we want to use a more metallic colour for this, so I'm going to choose these here. Select the shape. Once again, Ctrl C, Ctrl F. We're going to drag this up, and then using the top, we're going to hold Shift and just scale down a little bit like so, until we're happy with the size. And this is going to be the button. I'm now going to select a different colour for this, so I'm going to choose green like this. Like so. Drag this over so I can see it better. Now we can also add a shadow to this, just a nice quick and easy shadow. We can just Ctrl C, Ctrl F, and we can just drag this off a little bit, holding Shift. Use the Control and brackets to send it to back, and then choose your shadow colour. Set the opacity, and this just adds a nice little shadow to give it a bit more depth. So once you've done that, you can select this, holding Shift and Alt, we can drag it out. I'm going to change the colour, so for this I'm going to use blue. And again, play around with this, you can choose any colours you like, any sizes. It's all just practice. And then we now want to just line these up like so until we're happy where they are. I think this will be a bit better closer. Something like that works. So once again, I'm going to duplicate this across, and we're now going to make the analog stick. Yeah, so just select this. I'm going to place this here. This time we're going to remove the button at the top. We're going to Control C, Control F, and we just want to drag in once again, like so. Choose a darker colour. We want to draw a rectangle. Now this is going to be the stand for the analog stick. Next, press L and just draw another circle, like so. Now, once we've done this, we want to duplicate once again, Control C, Control F, and holding Shift, just drag it up a little bit. Now this is going to create the shadow for the analog stick, so just select both of these shapes, and then we want to, so what you can do is, now that you've done this, there's a shortcut. Once you've used the Pathfinder tool, you can just hold Control and 4, and that will reuse the tool you've already done. Now this again is just really good for once you're trying to speed up your process. Alternatively, head over again to Pathfinder and just select Divide. Ungroup it. We can remove this excess bit, and now you're ready to just fill it in again. I've already picked out these colours here. Okay, so this is now starting to take shape. I'm now going to draw out some text. I'm going to type arcade, scale this up a bit. Choose whatever font you'd like, and then I'm going to head over to, once again, we want to make this 3D. This time we're choosing isometric left. We want no bevel this time, or no depth should I say. No shading. Now I'm going to expand this again, Control A. That's another useful tool with any text. Once you've finished typing out your text, once you've expanded it, that will then allow you to manipulate the text. So until you expand it, once you've done that, you can then use the direct selection tool, and that's when you can start manipulating the separate points. Select the colour, and we can just drag this over like that. And there we go, we've got some text. I also think it's good to, at this stage, just play around with it, you know, and just see what you're actually happy making. So when I was testing this, I added some coin slots, I added a vent. What we can do is I'll add, so we can use the pen tool, and we can just draw a simple cable. So we can draw out this. I want to convert this to a stroke, so we can, let's set the stroke to 10. I'm going to transform and reflect, so if we reflect this horizontally, this allows us to just get a nice little curvy wire going. We can send this to the back. We'll set the fill color to something like this. And then once we've done that, we could add a little plug socket, so we can just draw a rectangle. Change it to fill. And we'll just select the two bottom anchor points and just drag this in. This looks okay. I'm going to choose metallic color. We'll round this off a little bit, and I'm just going to draw out two circles like so, and we can make this a slightly different color. Send it to the back, and there we go. So I'm gonna leave it here for now, guys. I think that's a good start. This was my first tutorial trying to walk through the process more, so I'm still learning myself. I'm going to make a lot more of these in the future. A lot more in the future are going to be a lot more in-depth and a lot more detailed. It's just this was more designed as a beginner tutorial, and it gets me heading in the right direction for creating these videos. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. If you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see in the future, feel free to drop a comment. We do have a Discord server as well. I'm going to put a link in the description. I'll pop this up right now. If you have any questions or want any help, join that Discord server. I'm going to try my best to answer all your questions, and I'm here to help. So feel free to join, and I hope to see you in there. And yeah, take care guys. I'll see you later.